Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Hummel. It's the Tier 6 German SVG and it's located on the west spawn of Airfield. And it's under the command of Talon 1958. Now, I think you can see he's got the stock gun, the gun which is actually from the Gorilla, the Tier 5 German SPG. It's actually quite a good gun. But it's slightly better in many ways than the Top Gun on the Gorilla, on the Hummel. But it doesn't have as long a range or reach as the Top Gun. It does have a better trajectory. And this was pointed out to me by a Super Unicum who've actually played the Gorilla quite a lot and the Hummel quite a lot. He said this gun's better actually, in his view. Well, Talon's moving into a firing position. His Hummel's based on the chassis of a Panzer III-4. It's got the chassis or the body of a Panzer IV, but the working parts of a Panzer III. So it's a bit of a mishmash. But they use the same chassis for the Nashorn as well. Okay, there's a Panther. Tier 7. This is a Tier 8 game. Round out. Oh yes, it was a splash, but it was right in front of the Panther, and he did get 165 hit points of splash damage and also loads of stun assists, and the enemy was taken out, so he picked up the hit points for the damage assistance. He was tracked, so that's what held him in place and allowed him to be killed. Well, there are a few targets in range. There's a VK 4503. There was an IS-6 in the pass. Oh, we got a lovely hit there on the VK. 111 hit points there. We got a E25 hiding over that corner, and he's actually spotting and putting damage into our tanks. So we've got a very quick reload, or rather it's about the same as the Gorilla. It's about 20 seconds on the reload. He fires his round out. About 22 seconds actually. Unfortunately, don't get any damage there, but he must have stunned that E25. There's the IS-6. Now that's a premium Soviet Tier 8. Oh yes, you can see the Gorilla retreating. He is badly damaged. He's only got 70% of his health left, so I'm pretty sure Talon did get a hit on him. And he got a hit on that IS-6 too. 260 hit points, and I think he hit the turret. That probably knocked out either the gunner or the commander. He's pulling back, that IS-6. He's still got a fair bit of his health though. Talon's loaded. Rounds out. Yes! Well, it was a splash for 70 this time. It landed just behind him. And the E25 is just wiped out in the background. Okay, we're almost loaded. Talon's team is doing very well in the south area. Actually, I said it was the east side of the map. It's actually the west side of the map. But oh my god, he just wiped out the IS-6 and switched targets to the VK. He got the kill. And there's a Tiger 131. That's a Tier 6 German heavy. Lining him up for a shot. Only a few seconds to go before we can shoot. He's already taking damage. Can we get the kill? Round out. Well, it's a direct hit, but the Tiger's wiped out immediately afterwards by our GW Tiger P. And that T-3485 is just out of range. But we do have an Su-100M1. That's a Tier 7 Soviet tank destroyer. And he's just the other side of Temple Mount. I call it Temple Mount because of those columns in the centre. Look like a Greek temple. And he fires around it. And I think he got a hit because there was no explosion when he fired. Pretty sure he got a hit. Yes, I think he did. Either that or he hit one of the columns. There's a T-28 prototype, the one with the turret. Just trying to get a line on him. No, can't there. Can get a hit on the Su-100. He's just been hit. And he's been hit again. 206 this time. He's firing as quickly as he can and very accurately as well. That's a sure sign he's getting very good with this gun. I actually prefer the stock gun in some ways because you can actually hit enemies who are trying to hide behind ridge lines, and we lose the SU-122-44 to that T-28. Now there is an FB-201 over there on the far side. He's just out of range. Oh, shells coming in. Lands just in front of him, but it stuns the FB. Now that T-28 prototype is just the other side of that rock face. And we've got a burning Leo. He obviously doesn't have a fire extinguisher. And he's gone. That's unfortunate. Now, can we get that FB-201? We know where he was last seen. It was up here. But he's probably in the boat. Oh, we can see that he's knocking down the fences as he's moving about. So we know where he is. He is there. Yeah, you see the destruction. He's actually knocked down the tower. Now he's knocking down fuel. So he is there. There he is. And rounds out. And we get a direct hit. 221 lands on him. Looks like it hit his front quarter as well. And we've lost sight of him again. Now we're 2 tanks ahead at the moment, but we've still got to deal with that T-28 prototype. And that FB-201. Fires around at the fuel depot. Okay, we're reloading. We just lost a BK-3601 to the T-28. So he's being a thorough nuisance and hiding behind that rock. He knows full well he's Arty safe around there. So long as he can stay below that ridgeline, he can't be hit. And that's, you see, when those people say, oh, there's no way you can hide from Arty, of course there is. There's loads of places you can hide from Arty. You've just got to study the map as an Arty player, and then you'll realise where the places are. Well, that FB-201 has been tracked, and we're 10 seconds away from loading, so we're not going to get a shot on him. But that Cromwell is just within range, and he's giving destruction, so he's telling us where he is, with all the destruction he's doing. We're marking the spot, saying that's where we think he is. There's nothing else for him to knock over there, unless he knocks over one of those fences. That's one of the good things about version 1.0. They put plenty of destructible property in there, which means that it's very much easier to locate where the enemy is. And we've lost the Cromwell to the FB-201. Can we get around in on him? Oh, we don't need to worry. He's just been taken out by the M44 on our team. But there's the Cromwell. Working out where he's going to go. Round out. Oh, it just landed in front of him, but it stunned him. Now we're 1 tank down. It's 3 Arty and a tank destroyer versus 3 Arty, a tank destroyer and a medium. Now that tank destroyer is the big nuisance. That's the T-28 prototype, who's now come up onto Temple Mount. And although we were firing up where the Cromwell B was last located, this is the big problem. And he's just taken out our only tank destroyer. So it's now 3 Arty versus 3 Arty, a medium and a tank destroyer. And of course it's that T-28 prototype is going to be a real pain to deal with. Now, as you know, Arty doesn't have great view range unless of course you happen to be in a PP. The 105 FH-18B2 has a 390 meter view range. And because the Hummel doesn't really have very good view range, it looks to me like he's going active, and I get the impression that Talon is going to take this to the enemy, and he's going to go to the enemy cap area, either try and kill the enemy if he finds them. There's the M44 on the enemy team, lines him up and shotguns him! 280 hit points, 100% kill, but of course the T-28 will now know exactly where he is, so he's got to make a choice. Does he continue on his trip, in which case the T-28 will take him out, or does he go to a different route? And I think he's going to go for a different route. He's reloading. 22.28 seconds on the reload. Okay, Lorraine is behind him, and close, very close. There he is. Now the Lorraine isn't great at turning, but it does have great speed. And that Lorraine is chasing him, but that's a big mistake because remember there are 2 other Artys in this game. He's locking on and shotguns him too. So that's 2 kills. Now the scores are even. But remember, the enemy still has that T28 prototype. So long as his friendly Arty can protect him, he can get to the enemy cap and he can cap out. Okay, he's loaded again. 15 centimeter shell. Separate ammunition from the separate shell from the actual ammunition. There's the T28. Oh, he's found us and his RAM killed us. Yep, that was really unfortunate, but a round comes in from our Arty and lands right next door to us, damages the T28 prototype, who is now down to negligible health, about, I think it was about 20%. And right at the other end of the map, I'm afraid the other enemy Arty has, the AMX-13F3, has just found and killed our GW Tiger P. And RM44 has just wiped out their AMX. And he's being asked to platoon with the GW Tiger P. And he has. That may be to complete a mission. And he's already in platoon with the Hummel, so with the M44. So now all three Artys, between them, have 6 kills. And it's down to the M44 to kill the last remaining enemy, the T28 and the Cromwell B. Well, the Cromwell B's on negligible health. He only had about less than 20% of his health left. But it's the T28 prototype is the big concern. He had about 25% of his health or thereabouts, maybe slightly more. But one shotgun from a 155mm round should be enough to take out one of them, maybe even both of them if they come together. Oh, there is the enemy. I hear him. He's turning. It's the Cromwell B. He turns around and oh, that's so sad. The Cromwell B gets around into him and wins the game. Oh, that's such a pity. Oh, look at this. It's a second-class tanker for Talon 1958 in the Hummel. He also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting 5 critical hits, crewing incapacitations or module damage. He got 17 in that battle, but he did pick up his first mark of excellence, and still while he's got the stock gun on. So well done for that. Even though it was a defeat, it was a valiant effort by all three Arty, especially by Talon, who managed to take 2 enemy Artys out by shotgunning. He got a win 8 for 4594 during that battle. So let's have a look at the team scores. Well, he didn't get the highest damage on his team. That went to the GW Tiger P. He managed 2,563 hit points of damage, but he didn't pick up the high caliber, even though it was the highest amount of damage overall on both teams. Primarily because that wasn't 20% of the enemy hit points. The highest scorer on the enemy team was the T28 prototype, who was alive at the end. He managed 2,302 hit points of damage, and of course their Cromwell only had 1,141. Talon managed to get 1,917 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the Hummel of Talon who managed 3 kills along with the Oho, but the highest scorer on the game was the T28 prototype. He managed 5 kills, and the FP201, the Lorraine and the AMX all managed 2 apiece, so did the Cromwell. When it came to base XP, it was the T28 prototype who got the highest score. He got 1,039 base experience points, followed by the M44 and then the AMX-13F3. The Cromwell managed 703, but Talon managed to top him with 828 base experience points because he did so much work to try and win that battle. And you can see that from the sheer number of enemy that he hit and damaged. And if we look at the detail report, we can see that he fired 17 rounds during that battle. He got 8 direct hits, 8 penetration, 8 splash, damage of 1,917 hit points, of which 1,520 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit, and it was a penetration. That was from the T28 prototype. He spotted 2 enemy vehicles, both of the Arty, the Lorraine and the M44, and he damaged 10 of the enemy and killed 3 of the enemy. He did do damage assistance of 961 hit points and stun assistance of 1,328 hit points off 13 stuns. On a premium account, he earned 62,264 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, and the ammo is fairly cheap, he actually took away 51,695 credits from a tier 8 game as a tier 6 Arty. He received 1,242 base XP on a premium, which is 1.5 times base really, and that's all he took away because this wasn't the first game of the day and he didn't have any bonuses running or anything. But as he said in the tab, he should have bought a lottery ticket. It was an incredible game. It really was. He got some really good shots in there. But the unfortunate thing was that at the end, that T28 prototype and the Cromwell B were just too strong and they weren't really going to get it. But he did have the right idea. Go to the enemy cap, take the fight to the enemy, because if the enemy had made the mistake of driving all the way to their cap to try and wipe out the Arty, and he'd driven in the opposite direction, he could have got into the cap, and whilst they were starting to try and hunt down his friends, he would have started capping. It would have been difficult for them to get back in time to try and wipe him out, although I must say the Cromwell B is quite a fast tank, so even if he had started capping, I think he probably would have had to have shotgunned the Cromwell B when it turned up. But great battles. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.